The average human takes 22,000 breaths every single day. That has nothing to do with this position. I just wanted to share it with you. This is the 5 bishops chess problem. You're going to understand why it's called that at the end of the puzzle. But it's white to play and win. White's pawns are going forward in this direction. Black's pawns are going this way. Before I say anything else, if you would like to pause, how can white win the position? Keep in mind, there's only one winning move. Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the only winning move for white in this position is the move f7. And at first glance, it's kind of a weird move because, yeah, you're pushing a pawn forward, but why push this one when you have 1, 2, 3 over here that are closer, and you could very easily get a queen, maybe with something like this. Well, let me show you what the problem is if you try to push this pawn to get the queen. Black has 2 options. They can play rook to h8 or rook to g5, but the point is the same in either case. They are simply going to come down here and checkmate you. And your queen over here on d8 can't do anything about it. Yes, you could move it down here or something, but it doesn't help you. Check, you have to block, and checkmate. The game is over. And of course, if you tried to capture the knight to defend the pawn this way, well, black just grabs it with the rook, and again, you're getting checkmated. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's kind of the problem with any other move in the position. The other moves just don't really stop black's threat of coming over here and checkmating you. If you'll notice, your king is stuck. And even though it's kind of a weird position, which you can see here is the black's king and pawn are doing a great job of keeping your king stuck in the corner. So you have to constantly watch out for this checkmate idea. Now, some of you are probably thinking, okay, that's great, Nelson, but how does the move that you said, f7, actually stop black's threat? Well, why don't you actually tell me that? So after rook to h8, black is clearly threatening here to capture the pawn and checkmate us, like I already showed you. What should white play to save the game? And actually, not just save the game, what should white play to win? If you had a chance to look at that, there's only one move, and the only move is to capture the knight, but not to get a queen, to get a bishop. This is one of the most insane moves you will ever see, because why in the world would we get a bishop when we could get a queen instead? And the queen's going to do everything that the bishop can do and some more. Well, let me show you. So if we capture this and get the queen, black has a incredible move here. Actually, I'm going to give you a chance to pause. Black has a way to save the game and get a draw. If you would like to pause, what can black play in this position? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move for black here is rook down to a1. And what black is doing is saying, okay, you've defended this. So what I'm going to do is come down here and checkmate you this way. And some of you are saying, Nelson, that's a stupid move because the bishop is going to take the rook. But after that happens, guess what? Black says, okay, now I'll come back over here. And yes, the queen is defending, but that's exactly what black wants, because if you've watched a Chess Vibes puzzle before, you probably have seen this. It's a stalemate. The king cannot move anywhere, and the pawns cannot move, and the game is a draw. So this is kind of black's trick, and this is why we don't want a queen. We don't want a queen because it's too powerful. The fact that it controls the ranks and files is what causes this to be a stalemate. So if we go back to this position, when we capture here and get a bishop, if black were to try the exact same thing, rook to a1, threatening checkmate, we capture it, capture here, we capture it. Look at the difference. In this position, black has a legal move. They have somewhere to move the king to because we don't have a queen here, just a bishop. The black can move here, and then we can go on and get a queen and win the game. Okay. So we've solved this first little bit of it of promote to the bishop. But black, of course, says, well, I'll just take your bishop. Now, if you would like to pause, what's the next move here for white? If you had a chance to look at that, of course, we capture the rook. And if you were paying attention, you should know we don't get a queen, we get a bishop. So I'd like you to keep track in your mind. How many bishops have we gotten so far? So we got 1 and we got 2. But now it gets a little bit tricky because black says, okay, well, I see that I can't take here. It's defended. But what I can do is simply take your bishop. And now it kind of looks like we have a problem. I mean, look at our pawns. What do we do? White to play and win. And this is probably the hardest move in the entire puzzle. So don't feel bad if you don't get this one, but it's white to play and win. Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the only winning move here for white is the move bishop to d4. And at first glance, it's like, it's just a random bishop move. Like, what are we doing? So let's talk about some of the alternatives and see what's going on here. First of all, let's just say you tried to push this pawn down the board and, you know, maybe somehow get a queen or something. What's going to happen? Well, black's going to say, okay, rook to h8. They're going to take your pawn next move and checkmate you like we've already talked about because our king is stuck in the corner. Yeah, you can get a queen or something. It doesn't help you. You lose. So pushing that pawn doesn't make sense. If you push this one, let's just say you get a queen. Well, black says, thank you very much. And how did that help you, right? And there aren't really any other good moves. So bishop to d4. Now, I still haven't really answered the question, what are we doing putting our bishop on d4? Here's the idea. We don't want to allow black's king to run away. And you might be thinking, Nelson, this is starting to not make sense. Like, why would black's king even want to run away? I thought they were trying to checkmate us. Well, we're going to come back to that in just a second, but let's move forward with the plan of, yeah, they do want to checkmate us. So they go rook to h8, trying to capture and checkmate. We've got our random bishop sitting on d4. What do we do now? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the only winning move in this position is e8, not a queen, because we know what happens if we get a queen, right? Black says, thank you very much, and they go for the stalemate trap. All right, we've already seen it. But what we do is we get a bishop, and keep in mind, this is the third bishop that we are under promoting to. And again, it's the same idea. We want to defend the pawn, but we don't want to stalemate the black king. So black, of course, I mean, what else are they going to do? Take the bishop. Now it's white to play and win. What should we do now? You had a chance to look at that. The only move is pawn to e7. And this is a critical move because if we don't play this and we play anything else, let's just take a random move, for example. The rook's coming over here and we're getting checkmated. But by playing e7, now when black comes back with the rook, excuse me, guess what our move is? You guys are starting to get the hang of this. e8, not a queen, but a bishop. And this is the fourth bishop that we have promoted to. And what do you think black's going to do? Well, we're going to take the bishop. And what do we play in this position? You got a chance to look at that. It's e6. And now we've done something very important. We have taken away the h8 square from the rook. So black can no longer try to go over here and checkmate us. However, black is not done yet. And now they play the move rook to f8. And again, it's white to play and win. If you'd like to pause, what's the winning move for white? If you had a chance to look at that, again, we see the same idea, pushing the pawn forward, but this time we're not worried about rook to h8. We're worried about rook to f5, because what black is trying to do is the exact same thing, except instead of coming at it from this way, they're coming at it from the f-file. But again, trying to checkmate us over here while our king is trapped in the corner. So what should we play here? And yes, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is e8, promoting to a fifth bishop in the same study. It's absolutely incredible. This is why it's called the 5-bishop puzzle, because at any point during the study, if you got a queen, it's an immediate stalemate. Black just sacrifices the rooks. It's a stalemate. But also, if you did it any other way, you would get checkmated. You had to use those bishops to defend this pawn. It's an absolutely incredible study, and I had never seen it before, and I hope you can appreciate this and enjoy it as much as I did. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. As always, stay sharp, play smart, and take care.